What is up? Welcome back to the channel yet again. It's been a long time. I apologize for that. Had some other stuff I've been interested in. If you've seen some of my other videos, I'm a big platinum trophy hunter, so I've been really spending a lot of time on that. I just did the platinum trophy for Elden Ring, and if anybody knows about that video game, it is quite the time sink. So I did just complete that and thought I would get out here and make some videos, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's why I haven't been around too much lately. Just been kind of into my other hobbies here. But we're back today with some John Cena's. I've got 6 picked out that I've recently gotten. I don't know why I'm holding that marker. And when I say recently, I pretty much mean from the time the last John Cena video went up to now. So a lot of these I don't remember where I got them, what I paid, things like that. I'll do my best to give you that information if I can, but for the most part, we'll probably just talk more about the figures themselves because, like I said, some of these I've had for, you know, I think in the last, aside from the Invisible John Cena one, the last like real part, you know, part 5 or so, I think I said I had 3 at that point, and that video was made, I don't even know, probably June-ish, and it's now August at the time of this, so I've definitely had some of these for a while, but yeah, let's dive into this bad boy. I also should have an update picture of what the collection looks like all together so far. I did finally get a shelf and start putting them in the shelf. I didn't have a space kind of picked out on where they were going to go in my toy building out here when I started this. So I've spent some time kind of figuring out how I wanted it to look, how I wanted to display it, things like that. So I do finally have a shelf. I'll get a picture hopefully at the end of this video, and you can kind of see the progress so far and what it looks like. It's a lot of figures already, and we've barely scratched the surface, to be honest. I'm way behind in completing this by the end of the year, so it'll definitely go on into 2026, if you will, but I'm having fun doing it. I've loved it so far, and it's been real entertaining. I'm trying to do, if you saw the Jax Rey Mysterio, I'm trying to do that one still. I haven't forgot about that one, but I wanted to go in order by year, you know, and 2003 is a tough one. There's one specific figure in 2003 that is proving to be pretty elusive, so that one's been tough, but we're here to talk about John Cena, not Rey Mysterio. So let's dive into the first one here. I think I have 2 elites, 3 basics, and then a weird kind of extra one that's neither really an elite or basic, to be honest. It's kind of a interesting one, but we're going to start with the elites. It's kind of the order that I have them in here, but the first elite we're going with is a more modern one. I believe it came out in 2024, and that is the From the Vault John Cena. Now, if you've been sticking up or keeping up with my kind of John Cena hunt, this will look familiar to you, as the defining moments that I talked about, I think a couple videos ago, is the same figure that we have here. So that defining moments figure came out based on this gear and representation and all that kind of stuff. And then the From the Vault figure was redone to come out in 2024. Now, I talked about it a little bit, I believe, in that video, but the From the Vault series is essentially the same as the Greatest Hits series. There are 2 series that are happening simultaneously right now. From the Vault is Ringside Collectibles exclusive only, and then Greatest Hits is, I believe any retailer can get Greatest Hits, so Target, Walmart, that kind of thing. And From the Vault, from what I kind of see, is the Ringside exclusive, like I said, and it's the figures that have really gone up in value, and that Mattel is trying to capitalize on getting some of that money for themselves rather than secondary or third-party people getting that money. So the defining moments of this John Cena is pretty expensive, especially mint on card. You're probably looking at $100 plus to get a nice minty mint on card one, you know, if not more, you know, maybe in the 150 to 200 range, especially if you're talking really mint. So of course Mattel wants to make money and sees that, so they want to reproduce this figure if they can and try to get some of that money that somebody would spend on that figure to have this figure instead, if that makes sense. So rather than somebody like me having to go out and pay, you know, $150, we'll say, to get this look of John Cena, now Mattel is like, hey, just pay us the $35 and you can have it again, kind of thing. And it'll be updated. You know, it'll have the pinless joints. It'll have the nicer fabric, you know, the nicer legs and joints and everything there, the belts, all that kind of stuff will be remade. You know, so Mattel gets a lot of bang out of their buck for it. Now, it does kind of hurt collectors from a value standpoint. If I was a collector that had this mint on card and had been saving it mint on card for all this time and was thinking about selling it, maybe that would hurt my value that I would get for it, but that's the risk you take with toys. I mean, toy companies want to make money. They don't really care about you being able to resell your stuff. Some are better than others. I'll give them that. Some of the more independent companies try to do a little bit better to keep their stuff valuable after it's been released, but big companies like Mattel, Hasbro, that kind of thing, they don't usually care. They just want to make money, and they want you to give them the money instead of giving it to a third party. So that's where we got this guy. Now, this was a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. It was on Ringside still when I started this challenge back in, I started the challenge back in January, but it was still on Ringside then. I did not get it then because I was getting other figures and stuff, and I wanted to get the Defining Moments one first, kind of, just to be able to show that one first. But, so I never did pull the trigger on Ringside Collectibles. I got this off of eBay, I'm pretty sure, and I paid more than the retail price. I believe retail for these on Ringside was like $35.99 or so, or maybe in that area. I feel like it was definitely more expensive than an Elite, definitely more expensive than an Elite should be. But yes, it was in that area, and I paid a little more than that. I definitely paid up for it because I waited. I should have bought it on Ringside originally and didn't, but I paid a little up for it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I felt like it was a good deal based on the prices that I had seen. And that's why I hadn't pulled the trigger yet. When it left Ringside, I knew I was kicking myself for that because a lot of the prices then skyrocketed, obviously. But I felt like I got a good deal. And the one really cool thing, this is the first time in my collection that I have this US title spinner belt. So very excited there. And I guess, did it come on the other one too? It should have, I believe. I'd have to look and see, because maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I do have the spinner belt on that one. But I guess if I did, I don't remember playing with it too much because I really like this. It actually does spin. So that's fun. You can see it there that it spins. I really like that. I loved this US title. I liked that he did this with the belts. I liked the WWE spinner belt as well. And then Edge obviously did it also with his Rated R belt. So I really did like those belts when he did them. So I'm excited to have the US title in my collection. I'd like to get another one because I do kind of like to collect all the different belts. You know, so like, just for example, here I have, you know, Naomi's glow-in-the-dark women's title. I have one of the WWE spinner belts that doesn't actually spin. The one on the John Cena there does spin. This one's just a stationary one. But then we also have like the new, more modern US championship, things like that. But I do like to collect all the belts if I can as well. So getting another one of those US titles would be cool just to have kind of with my belt display, if you will. But that's maybe for another video. We can kind of go over all my title belts or something. I don't know. But yes, that is the From the Vault Series 1 John Cena there. He does have another From the Vault. I believe it's Series 5 is his kind of next one or new one that you can get on Ringside Collectibles right now. I haven't purchased that one yet either. I probably should, because if I don't, I'm sure I'll be in the same boat I was with that one. But apparently I make the same mistake twice. I don't know. But anyways, next up we have a little older of a one. This is from, I believe it came out in 2014, but it's the best of 2013 pay-per-views. So this is from one of the pay-per-views in 2013. I don't know, honestly. Damn, look at his eyes in this figure. I didn't notice that until I held it up to the camera. Those are friggin' blue, man. Look at this figure. Like, you can't barely, like, you can see his eyes are blue, but like, bam, they just pop there. Like, look at that, dog. That's crazy. Anyways, we're getting off track here. But yeah, so this came from, this is an Elite, and it's from Best of Pay-Per-Views 2013. So the figure came out either right at the end of 2013 or in the beginning of 2014. And the series is all guys from their gear or what they wore at specific pay-per-views in the year of 2013. And then this set also did, if you bought all four of the figures, you could build a Build-A-Figure Paul Heyman. And that was the only Paul Heyman you could get for a long time, so it was very expensive. These figures were very expensive because it came with that Paul Heyman. So those were some pricey figures. Paul Heyman has since been re-released. He was in the Beast Incarnate set or whatever with Brock Lesnar. I believe that's the set he was in. And then he also, I'm pretty sure, also has a From the Vault Ringside Collectibles Elite as well. So Paul's definitely got some new figures, which I think has helped in making some of these older Elites come down in value a little bit, because now you don't have to buy these figures to get the Build-A-Figure pieces and things like that. But these are still very pricey. So these Build-A-Figure sets are very, very expensive. Cena is in a lot of them. So he's in this one with Paul. He's in another one with John Laurinaitis. He's in another one with Corporate Kane, I believe. He's probably in a couple other ones. But the figures themselves are pretty expensive. Now, I got super lucky with this. This one I definitely remember where I got. I got this from J&J Collectibles, I believe is the name of the site. It's two brothers that started selling wrestling figures, and they've done really well for themselves. They have a website that they do most of their selling on, but then they also have Whatnot that they do maybe once a week or once every couple weeks or so, and they do different things. And I love watching their Whatnot streams. I think they're great fun to just watch, even if you're not looking to purchase. I think they're pretty knowledgeable when it comes to wrestling figures, and they always sell a good variety of stuff. So they have, Mattel, Jakks, WCW, ECW, things like that. They have a ton of stuff. They get a lot of exclusives now from some of the more indie companies like KWK Retros and Title Run Toy Retros and FCW, things like that they have exclusives through. So, I can't praise them enough. I'm obviously not sponsored or anything by them, so don't think that. I'm just saying this is how I feel. I think they're a great company, and they're doing very well for themselves. So I hope to see them continue. I've bought a lot of stuff from them actually lately. They're kind of my go-to place to buy figures now, especially newer figures. But this one I got on their Whatnot stream. Now, the biggest thing for them that's like super, super awesome is that they keep their prices probably as low as they can. Anything I've ever bought from J&J has been very, very fairly priced. Nothing is like crazy overpriced or anything like that. And their Whatnot streams, for the most part, all of their stuff starts at either $1 or $5, which is awesome, because if nobody else bids, you could get a figure for $1 or like an Elite or a Ultimate even for $1 or $5, I can't remember what this one started out. I got this on Whatnot. I can't remember if this one started at $1 or it started at $5, but I ended up paying like $25 plus shipping, but like $25 because nobody else bid on it. So like, if you look this up, mint on card, I got a mint on card as well. So I got the Paul Heyman Build-A-Figure piece. I got everything with it. It was brand new. And if you look this figure up on eBay, getting it for $25 is mint on card, I should say, is not really a thing. So screaming deal there. Was super excited for this. Very, very happy to get this for such a cheap price. This was one that I knew was going to be tough. I assumed would be more of one of the last ones I get, because of it being so expensive, because Paul Heyman is so popular and it being a Build-A-Figure piece. The Kane one and the John Laurinaitis one are a little less expensive just because they're not as popular as Paul Heyman when it comes to them as characters that people would want in their collection and things like that. Paul Heyman is like a must-have in any wrestling figure collection, whereas those two, nobody would really care if you didn't have Corporate Kane, because Kane is much more known for other things that you should have in your collection. And John Laurinaitis, again, is not, he was GM for Raw at the time, and that was not, a well-remembered time in the wrestling business, I would say. So the Paul Heyman one was definitely the most expensive. So to see this, they advertise their stuff a lot because they want views and whatnot, but to see this show up as something you could bid on and things like that, I was ready. I had it alerted. Like, I knew when that show was. I knew when this was going on. I knew it. And I knew I was leaving with this figure. I was willing to bid more than $25 for sure. I don't know how high I would have gone. Probably not that much higher than 50, to be honest, just because once you start getting over 50, it's hard to swallow sometimes getting one figure, especially when you're going to open it. So extremely happy to get that one and get it checked off the list. So very, very happy, very excited for that figure. Like I said, it was mint on card and complete. He comes with the belt, the dog tags, the hat, the, you know, the wristband, or the bicep band that is removable also, it looks to be. But very, very cool. One last look at those crazy blue eyes. But that is the John Cena Elite Best of 2013 pay-per-view. So now we're going to get into some modern stuff, or a little bit more modern, I should say, with this one. This is a more modern basic figure, and you can tell it's modern, actually, because of the way he looks. He's got that long hair that he has now, or that he's been repping for, you know, the last few years or so. But this is John Cena Basic 105. This came out in 2020, so about 5 years ago. Like I said, there's the long hair. That's how you can really tell it's a more modern John Cena look. So this is based off more of his modern stuff. He's also in the dark blue when it comes to like his bicep band and his wristbands. I'm not sure what shirt he was wearing with those colors at the time. I'd be interested to see what that would look like, or what that is. But yeah, this is Basic Series 105. I honestly have no idea where I got this. To be honest, it might have been a Whatnot thing, again, where somebody just popped up that they were selling this at the time, so I bid on it for cheap and got it. I have no idea where I got this from. I cannot remember where this came from, to be honest, but yep, that is Basic Series 105 John Cena. Nothing more to say, really. Like I said, it's more old man Cena with the dark blue kind of color scheme and stuff, but very, very cool. This Cena will get re-released a lot, and the colors will just be changed on his bands and whatnot. So, yep. The next two are, again, virtually identical. I was opening these before I did the video, and I was like, man, are these the same figure? They're a little different, but very, very close. And they're a little bit older. Actually, not much older than that 2020, but so this is the 2019 Top Picks John Cena. So it's based on, you know, a little bit of his younger days. He's still got the short kind of buzz cut hair, and he's got the green "You Can't See Me" stuff on. He's got the dark blue jeans and the black shoes with the blue kind of hints on his shoes. I only point that out because when we look at the next one, we can kind of compare how similar they are. But yeah, this is the 2019 Basic Top Picks. We talked about Top Picks before. It's kind of like your biggest names in wrestling. You know, your John Cena's, your Randy Orton, Seth Rollins. They get a lot of Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio. They get a lot of top picks because those are kind of the guys that sell the most units. But let's take a look at this other one too and kind of see. So this is Basic Best of 2014, and he's almost identical. He's got the green, he's got the dark blue, and then he just has straight black shoes on though. So if we compare these, they're very, very close. So the head is different, obviously. You can see the Top Picks has the teeth in the grin, and the 2014 has a little bit more of a, I don't want to say dumbed down face scan, but it definitely doesn't look as clean, I feel like, as the 2019. The other difference I did notice was the, hard to see here, but the Never Give Up on his bicep band there. The font is definitely bigger on the 2014 than the 2019, but very, very close. The jeans are a slightly different color of blue. And then obviously, like I said, the shoes have the hint of blue in the 2019. But this is what I've always I've harped on it in a lot of the videos, but this is what I mean by, like, it's virtually the same figure. Like, if you held these two next to each other loose out of the package and asked me to tell you which was which, it would probably take me a while to figure it out. Obviously, the shoes are the big dead giveaway, for sure. So if you could see those, you know, and if the pictures you're looking to validate, you could see them, you would definitely know. But that's what I've always kind of harped on, that some of these figures are going to be virtually identical, just slightly different when it comes to, like I said, the shoe color. The head scan was a little different there, but two of them checked off the list. I have no idea. I don't remember where I got these or where they came from. I'm sure a lot of these came from eBay or whatnot. Those two might have came from Mercari, actually, because I did at one point buy a bundle on Mercari. You know what? I think that's what all three of those basics were. Basic 105, and then the two green ones, the Best 2019 and the 2014 one, are a lot I got on Mercari. All three of them were one bundled sale. and I got all 3 of them off Mercari. I want to say it was like 20 bucks for all 3 of them. So it was a pretty good deal. But yes, that is where I got those 3 now that I think about it. So, and last but not least, the 6th figure for today is, like I said, it's not really a basic or an elite, to be honest. But it is called the Tough Talkers. This is a Tough Talker Series 1, John Cena. And the gimmick for these Tough Talkers was there's a button right here on the back and then the speaker there. You would hit the button and he would talk. Now this is, what year did this come out? I don't know. Probably pushing 10 years old. And this was mint on card. So I did open it. So like the battery's never been changed. The battery may have even exploded inside of him. Who knows? But that's why he does not work anymore. I'm not concerned with him actually talking because once these are all on the shelf, you're not really going to mess with, I'm not going to mess with them much. So you're not going to really be able to hit the button per se. And I understood when I bought this that a lot of the figures with batteries in them don't work anymore and don't hold up well. Unless they're kept in like super temperature controlled rooms and not pushed. You probably can't hear it on the camera. I can hear it here where it's like trying to talk. So it's, you hit the button and it goes, like you can hear him doing that. But that was the gimmick, that you would hit the button and they would say like their lines. I'm sure he would say, "You can't see me," or things like that. But then the other guys had their sayings and everything. But yes, that was what he is. And when I say he's not really a basic or an elite, his, because of the battery and stuff in him, his articulation is like super dumbed down compared. So like even to a basic, he's just really, like basics usually you can move their feet kind of in and out like pigeon-toed or not pigeon-toed kind of thing. These ones, like his feet barely move. He has a slight like calf cut where it looks like you should be able to spin his leg at the calf. You can kind of see it right there where there's that little gap right where his shorts end and his calf begins. But like I was trying to do that when I put him on the stand and he like barely moves. Same with the torso. Because of the speaker box that's like in his chest stomach area, his torso doesn't move at all. Like it doesn't have, so like on a basic you can spin his torso. So see how I'm spinning him and he's sideways and whatnot. It has no torso spin like that on the Tough Talker. So it's definitely like a dumbed down basic, if you will, but still in that 6 to 7 inch range when it comes to like scaling. So it definitely was part of this list. He has 2 other Tough Talkers, I believe, that I have one of them already secured. I just haven't opened it and talked about it. And then I believe there's one other one. Is there 1 or 2? I'm not sure. There's either 1 or 2. I think there's one where it's like a tag team 2-pack with another guy. And there might be another single one. I'm not positive on that. I know there's at least one more that I don't have at all. And then I have the other. I have Series 2. He was in Series 1 and Series 2. I have the Series 2 already secured. So that one might be in the next video or whatever. But yeah, so those are the 6 John Cenas I pulled out to talk about today. I do have quite a bit more still. I can see 2 more here right next to me, and then I have another pile kind of over in front of, well, behind the camera in front of me. That's probably another, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 that I've acquired. So we have a good amount. So I have probably enough for at least 1 more video, if not 2. And but yeah, we'll keep cranking these out. I'll put that picture in now. You can kind of see the progress of how we've been doing. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you guys have a good one. Catch you later.